What's up? This is RJ with Too Much Training. Sander's not here, he's at school. So I'm gonna hit arms, and while I'm hitting arms, I'm gonna check out this post. And I'm gonna be sharing it later about 13 fitness questions every beginner has. So I'm gonna work out my arms, and then we're gonna check out these questions and check out what I think. Yeah. First question: how often should I exercise? Seems like a simple question. It's actually very loaded. I noticed that with people starting out, they would train like a New Year's resolution, or they would train once and then never come back. We have something like that in the Philippines. In the Philippines, the term is lingas kubon. Excited about starting out, and then once you actually try it, you never come back. Sucks, right? Yeah, happens to everybody. I'm gonna read a new book, read 2 pages, and then stop. Then never see the book again. And of course, the aforementioned New Year's resolutioner. My thing is, with the people I've trained, the people I train with, and especially the people I train under, stick to a schedule that you set for yourself, regardless of the excuse, regardless of the emotion, regardless of the discomfort, regardless of the schedule, regardless of the pain. You set a schedule for yourself, stick to it, no matter what, for a month, and I guarantee you'll be consistent. If you don't stick to your schedule the first week, I don't think you'll be able to keep it. With this article, it says 6 workouts each week, 4 and 6. That's about reasonable. 30 minutes to an hour per day. 4 to 6. You do need a rest there. My suggestion is, if you're new to this, pick a schedule, stick to it. You'll never lose. You'll never lose. Reverse curls, a little bit lighter. Like I said, wrist issues. So I don't burn out my wrist, I still burn out my arms. Reverse curls. Now, while we're doing that, this article is asking what time of the day is best to work out. And I agree, the best time to work out is whenever you can fit it in. Now, I have had a lot of jobs in my life. I've done English tutor, I've done call center work, I've done a little bit of everything. And all of the schedules have always been different. From night shift, day shift, everything in between. And because I've been doing this for so long, I really started doing this. I haven't even had a kid yet. Now my kid's 12 and he's training with me. Funny, huh? So, I've come to learn that if you're targeting different things, working out certain different times feels a little bit different. When you work out in the morning, this is actually great if you're going to be working out in a fasted state. When I refer to morning, I actually refer to whenever the hell it is you wake up. So if you're a night shift person, when you wake up, which is afternoon real time, but your morning, right? So after just waking up, working out is great if you're going to go for the fasted training. For those who are unaware, fasted training is great for cutting that last bit of fat. It's great for A and B type body fat burning. I'll explain that in a later video. But yeah, anytime you can fit it in. But if you're going for strength, I've noticed personally that I'm stronger in the afternoon than in the morning. Maybe it's because I've had my caffeine throughout the day. Maybe it's because I've stretched out, I've done a lot of things. But when I work out and I'm training for raw power, after having all the calories in me, the morning is great because, bam, you're just so strong. Or sorry, the afternoon, I screwed that up. The afternoon is great because you're so strong. How long should my workouts be? Decent question. Decent question. So, for workouts, it really depends on what the goal is. But I would stick to quality rather than quantity. Like a 3-hour workout, that's not much if there's no quality behind it. And a 30-minute workout that kills you is good. But obviously, if you're brand new to this, you need to be a little bit concrete. So, with my son, he's 12. And he started training in martial arts, in karate, sikaran, which is a Filipino martial art, and other things when he was 8. Now he does everything from Muay Thai, Jiu-Jitsu. He's a blue belt in karate, almost a brown belt. So he's doing things now. He is fit, but he's also a kid. So right now, I'm training him at about an hour a day with 2 rest days a week, where the rest days he doesn't lift or do hard cardio, but he still works out. He still moves. We do forms in karate and we do stretching. So an hour a day is not that bad, especially if you can pace yourself, which is what you should be doing. Pace yourself. Okay. So these two questions can actually go together. Do I need to warm up, and should I do strength training, cardio, or both? So, do I need to warm up before my workouts? Yes and no. My martial arts sensei mentioned that warming up was a bit of a northern hemisphere type of situation because your body was very cold, so moving would actually be challenging if you didn't warm the body up, hence the term warming up. I've heard a lot of fitness coaches mention that warming up could be part of the workout routine. So the article is correct. A proper warm-up is important. How you warm up differs between the workout. For example, with powerlifting, warming up could be mild stretching, just so that you're able to get into the position you're going to do. Bench, deadlift, squat, whatever. Same thing for Olympic lifts. Strength is the goal. But warming up for, let's say, a Muay Thai class or a Jiu-Jitsu class, you need to be really loose because you're going to be kicking and moving and doing all that stuff. So stretching and getting the body all, warm and the blood circulating is very important. I go by the book of warming up depending on what you should do. And speaking of what you should do, so the common notion is that if you're trying to lose weight, you should run or do cardio. And if you're trying to get bigger, you should lift. This is wrong. Why is it wrong? Well, the notion of losing weight is wrong to begin with. The goal should not be to lose weight. The goal should be to lose fat, get into a better shape. Which is why a lot of people actually look better when they gain weight. You just have to gain the right amount of weight and the right type. What do I mean? This is a chubby person excuse. I've used this a lot. It's not fat, it's muscle. I'm heavy because I got a lot of muscle. Which is true. I'm 5'5" and I'm almost 200 pounds. But if you look at the BMI, I'm overweight. I'm obese. I don't look obese, do I? That's because a lot of my weight is muscle. I've been doing this for a while. So now that we have that in our heads, strength training and cardio, you should do both separately. If you're only allotting an hour for yourself every day to work out, do 45 minutes of weights in the morning and 15 minutes of cardio in the afternoon. Separate them. Because if you put them together, you're not going to be able to do them both well. Doing them well enough, separate them. Running can make you lose weight, but you're also losing a lot of muscle if you run too much. This is just my personal opinion, but you rarely ever see long distance runners with like a good amount of muscle because First off, a lot of muscle is hard to bring with you when you're running long distances. Second, muscle is the least metabolically easy to maintain. If your body goes into emergency food stores, it's going to consume your muscles first because it's harder to convert fat. Right? And I'm not just pulling stuff out of my butt here. You can Google this. This is on sources like muscleforlife.com and all that other stuff. It's real stuff. So, tailor it to your goal. But if your goal is generally just to look better, a little bit of weightlifting and some cardio. Easy. So hammer curls with the plate. So I did overhead triceps for earlier. This time, we're just gonna overload the bicep by squeezing this plate in between my hands. Full stretch on the bottom. Squeeze up top. Same movement as a hammer curl. Nice. Another question here is, should I lift weights for strength training? I'm assuming that this would be weights versus body weight? Is that what you're referring to? So according to the website, resistance training is how you build muscle mass. This is how you burn calories, and yes, this is how you improve overall health. But resistance training can come with body weight, with extra actual physical metal or rubber weights, or even resistance bands. So there's a lot of ways to add resistance to your life, so to speak. Now the question is, body weight versus plates or versus actual weights versus resistance bands. What should you use? I personally go over the idea that you should be able to do all three. A strong person is strong regardless of what they're holding. So for this one, this is a 45-pound plate, 20 kilograms. I will be able to curl this for 10, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Which also means that I should be able to do a bit of pull-upping or use resistance bands. Now I don't have resistance bands anymore. I used to. They broke. But let's put it this way. Use weights if that's what you have. Use resistance bands if that's what you have. Use body weight if that's what you have. The main difference between the three is, with physical weights, it's easy to do what we call progressive overload. Now, progressive overload is the way that you grow muscle, become stronger, all that good stuff. What do I mean? I can curl 5 pounds for 8 reps. The moment I can do 5 pounds for 9, I'm going to add weight. I might not be able to do 8 again, but it's going to be a little bit heavier. Then next week, when I can finally do 8 for the added weight, great! Once I hit 9, I add weight again. Now, it's not infinite, obviously. You can't just keep adding weight. Eventually, you're going to start doing a different protocol. But when you're a beginner, like the people who should be watching this, you got to smoke those weights and move on to the next weight. That's how you get stronger. That goes for any lift. Compound or otherwise. Isolations or whatever. Now, the challenging thing about bands is you're going to be limited by what you can attach the bands to, how much weight you can add. When you become too strong, the bands are just going to be easy. And you're going to have to move on to something else. But the bands are great, especially if you're always moving, if you're always traveling. Now with body weight is some hardcore stuff. You can check out Bar Stars on YouTube and other stuff like that. Those guys are great. Doing muscle ups and stuff like that. I don't even think I can do a muscle up. I haven't tried. My ceiling's too low. But the barrier to entry is a little higher. You have to already be strong enough to carry your own body weight. I might be wrong, I don't do that much, but that's what I think. So, mixture of three, like pull-ups. Pull-ups. Then once you can do too many pull-ups, do freaking pull-downs with a lat pull-down. And, of course, I want to squeeze in this next one, which is there any fitness terminology that you need to know? Should be helpful. No. Call things whatever you want to call them, because they're there to be your names for things. Like a pull up, you could call that something else as long as the movement's the same. The problem with that is when you search for things, you have to know what they're really called. Right? Now, terminologies like calories or plates or the names of machines. I actually had a problem with this as well when I was starting out, because I was concerned that if I asked someone something, they might not know what I was talking about, or I don't know what I'm doing, is my form correct, all that stuff. You know what I realized? Doesn't matter. Getting started is the most important thing. Begin the journey. Once you've begun the journey, everything else falls into place. It's like a new job. You learn on the job. Same thing goes for fitness. Pacing yourself is much, much more important. So I'm going to do some concentration curls on this lovely machine here. This is the 16-in-1. This is actually my only machine, because my other stuff in here is just plain old weights. Pull-up bars and a rack. But the rack does have pulleys, so that's interesting. So, I'm going to do single curls right here. While we're doing that, the question here is, if I'm struggling with my workouts, what should I do? Well, that's a good question. And I feel like I've addressed this, but it's a good way to address it like the whole way. You're going to struggle with workouts. You're going to. It's not something you can avoid. There are going to be workouts that are going to suck. There are going to be workouts that are going to be horrible. There are going to be workouts that are going to tell you, that are going to make you say, I'm never doing this again. There will be workouts that are so tough that you just want to quit. What should you do? You should remind yourself why you got here in the first place. What was the thing that made you say, I'm going to work out? Was it a doctor's appointment that reminded you, shit, I'm not going to live forever? Was it someone that told you, hey, you're a lot bigger than I remember? Was it a potential romantic partner that rejected your ass? Was it a job that you couldn't get? Remind yourself about the why. Because if you don't, no matter how much money you paid for a gym membership, no matter how many equipment you buy, you're not going to keep doing this. Remind yourself about the why, so that you can keep working on the how, the when, and the where. Yeah? Perfect. Next question here is, what if I'm feeling super sore? And that's gonna happen. That's gonna happen. So, like, today, I'm working on arms. Pretty sure by tomorrow morning, my arms are gonna be burning. What do? Well, I used to think that if you didn't feel sore, my wrist sucks. If you didn't feel sore, it means that you didn't work out hard enough. That's not actually true. Now, the human body is very intelligent, and it's going to adapt to things that you do to it. Now, when you first started your workout, every single workout is going to make you sore. Doesn't matter if you just did push-ups in your living room, you did sit-ups, doesn't matter if you jogged 5 minutes, every workout is going to make you sore. Now, when I first came across this problem, my technique was periodization. So I would do chest in the Monday, or in the morning on Monday, and then do my cardio running. That way, separate things hurt. Tomorrow, I would do biceps. My triceps are tired from doing bench press, but my biceps are fine, so I do biceps the following day. I rest on Wednesday, and then on Thursday, I do back, which is a separate body part altogether. Then shoulders, then legs. And then of course, there's something called delayed onset of muscle soreness, DOMS. Now, you won't feel the soreness until maybe like 12 hours later, more. So you have you have the ability to power through a workout, right? If you're sore during the movement, you might be injured. You might check on that. Otherwise, you're fine. Now, little secret here for cramps, muscle pains, or when your fascia, the stuff that wraps around your muscle, that's really what hurts. When that hurts after a workout, a great thing to have is magnesium. Now, I have a magnesium spray that I use in competition or after workouts. Like when we compete in karate, your legs are gonna hurt. So you spray that on your legs and they stop hurting for a little bit so you can power through a tournament. Jiu-jitsu, it's the same thing. Me and my son do jiu-jitsu. When it hurts, when your muscles are feeling really tired, magnesium makes it better. It helps heal you, and at the same time, it helps you power through something. Get you done. And of course, eat right. I know that's gonna sound like a freaking afterthought, but eat right. Proper nutrition, eating the right amount of proteins, allows your body to heal better. It's like giving construction workers more tools and more materials to build. They're gonna be able to build better. Right? And it's cool that the website divided it into before you start, while you're working out, and when it's already a habit. The last thing about, during the workout is how often do I need a rest day? It depends on what else you're doing in the day. Like if all you do is stay home and your job is home-based, if you barely go out, you don't walk that much, you don't need a rest day. The rest of your day is rest. What? If the only activity you have is the workout, you don't actually need a rest day. Especially, maybe once every few months. But or once a week at the very least. But if you're super active, however, and you're always out and about, you're always moving things, you're always walking or whatever, and you're active aside from the workout, then you're going to need at least 1 or 2 days rest a week. It's only reasonable. Rest days are dictated by how much punishment your body gets, not by how much you want to rest. Now, what if you feel like, damn, this workout's too hard, I may have burnt myself out, I haven't done a rest day in forever. Maybe. Depends. You gotta be honest with yourself though. How hard did you actually work? If you worked that hard, why are we even talking about a rest day? Rope press. Check this out though, by the way. This thing is actually made from a heavy duty dog collar for those big dogs. I've actually used this thing for almost 100 pounds. Didn't even crack. That's how you do some tipid bodybuilding, low cost bodybuilding. Now, for the last section, it's when it's already a habit. Now, if being healthy, being fit, being strong is already a habit for you, then there's not really much to talk about, because by this time, you're already planning your own workouts, you already have a workout buddy, you already know what your routines are. It's already a freaking habit. But people still have issues. This is a great question. How do I stay motivated? I'm going to bring you back to the why. What was the reason why you started this? This needs to be your wake-up call. Every time you feel like you want to stop, every time you feel like it's too hard, every time you're not motivated enough for a workout, you need to remind yourself of the why. But the website does have a lot of tips that are very helpful. Regularly set goals. Now, if you're doing a progressive overloading, the goals are actually setting themselves, because you're adding weight every time it's too light. This is something that you need to assess for yourself. However, setting other goals is very helpful. For example, joining your first tournament or competition, setting a goal weight for you to lift, either as a single lift or as a total. Losing a certain amount of weight in pounds of your body. Gaining a certain amount of pounds in weight for your body. Those are goals that you need to be able to set, and you need to be realistic with yourself on how much time you give yourself to set them, to reach them. But setting goals is extremely important. Hey, convertible pull-up bar. Where you at? By the way, shout outs to my jiu-jitsu brother Justin. This thing is great for training. I'll show you later. Anyway. How do I measure my progress? That's actually a great question. And the answer is different for everybody. So, how you measure your progress depends on what goal you set. If your goal was to lose weight, measure your progress in pounds per week. Let's say you gave yourself 6 months to lose weight. Measure how many pounds you lose per week. That way you know if you're on track. You know if you're consistently hitting your goals. You know if you're consistently doing what's right. Because if you don't track your weight and then 2 months before your deadline you check and you didn't lose anything, you're not going to magically lose all that weight. Now, if the goal is to lift a certain amount of pounds, track it in pounds per week too, or month, pounds per month. Now, if the goal is to join a competition, that's gonna be a little bit more challenging because you can't measure it by how much you win. Winning isn't everything. It's a bit more subjective because you have to be able to measure how you improve before and after the competition. And in relation to that, apart from doing my workouts, what else can I do to take care of my health? I feel like the answer should be obvious, but that is making sure your diet is not terrible. It's pretty straightforward right there. Making sure that your diet has a lot of healthy food, a lot of fiber, a lot of protein, carbs, and fat. Now, there are going to be some people that are going to have their underwear in a twist because I said protein, carbs, and fat. Is counting your macros the best way to diet? Subjective. I count my macros only because it's the easiest way for me to diet. And it's worked. I've dieted down to 4% body fat, stepped on stage, got second place for macros. No steroids, no body fat burners, not even freaking whey at the time because I was poor. Nothing. Still stepped on stage. Now, other people are going to have their underwear in a twist because I said protein, carbs, and fat. Do I mean eating animals? But yes, some people will choose not to eat animals or their religion says they can't do it or whatever. Cool. Good for you. This is my choice. This is the easiest, the best, and the most tastiest way for me to intake my protein. Chicken, beef, fish, pork. Yes, pork too. Matter of fact, based on some studies, pork is actually, the protein in pork is actually more easily absorbed in the body than chicken or beef. This was something I read like 6 years ago, but yeah, at the time it was true. It's not like cows and pigs changed in 6 years, right? Not much. But yeah, taking care of your diet, reducing bad habits, smoking, not, mitigating your alcohol consumption. Don't make it a habit like your workouts. Overall, those things will take care of your health. And when you do your workouts, you're taking care of your health too. So that's really, a good choice. Overall, I gotta say that you have to love your workouts. Even if you don't share them with anybody. Some people work out just for the gram. Some people work out just to be able to say that they worked out. You have to work out for you. Even if it isn't the new year. The new year is about to come up, so a lot of spaces are going to be full of, resolutioners. I myself built myself a gym because this was my way of being consistent. I don't have to have the excuse if I can't go to the gym today. It's below my house. You gotta stay consistent too. Speaking of which, I'm gonna pick up Sander for his workout 6 o'clock p.m. so that he can hit arms just like me. See you later. Too much training is gonna be bad.